Greetings, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Networking Online with University of Minnesota Alumni. My name is Marissa Smith, and I'll be your presenter today. I am the Director of Student and Recent Alumni Engagement at the Alumni Association. So it's my job every day to think about how are we connecting students and alumni to further their career goals and community. I consider it a great privilege, and I am continually impressed by just how talented and ambitious and inspiring University of Minnesota students and alumni are. And so I'm excited to share with you today some tools that can hopefully make it easier for you to connect with other folks in the University of Minnesota community to help you along your academic and career journey. Before we get started, I want to share just a couple of announcements with you. First, our webinar series is brought to you by University of Minnesota Alumni Association members. We are a member-driven organization. So if you're joining today's presentation as a member, thank you for supporting the work that we do. And if you're interested in learning more about membership, you can do so on our website at umnalumni.org. Right now, we're running our fall member campaign, and anyone who joins as a new member gets this year's design of the maroon shirt, which I was just wearing mine yesterday. It's super fun. It features a vintage Goldie. So definitely check that out and help support the work that we do. We do have some upcoming webinars that you might be interested in addition to this one. So on October 21st, we're hosting Mi Gente in the Workplace, which is featuring a panel of Latinx professionals talking about their experience in the workplace. Should be super interesting. And then a week later, on October 28th, we're hosting Banishing Burnout. So we know that burnout was present in the workplace even before COVID, and that this past year has just amplified it for many of us. So join us for a conversation about tips and tricks for helping to move past the burnout. And again, you can learn more about both of those sessions on our website. This slide used to be more important before COVID when Zoom was still a new platform to many of us, but I do like to make just a couple of announcements about how to use Zoom. So if you've joined using your computer, you can also listen over the phone, and there are instructions both in the confirmation email you received prior to today's session, and then also on the screen here. And then I do want to invite you to submit questions. Questions are welcome anytime. I want this session to be as useful to you as possible. So please drop a question in the Q&A box or in the chat, and I will get to those as we go through today's content. And then you will be getting a copy of the slides and the recording for today. So as we move through, if there's something that you want to remember, just know that those will be coming to you via email after today's session. So before we dive in, I want us to pause and just take a moment to reflect on what motivated you to be here today. As you think about your goals around networking, what's most on your mind? Are you looking to explore different career paths? Are you looking to perhaps make a career transition? Are you looking to move up along the leadership ladder, or the leadership jungle gym, as some folks refer to it? What motivated you to be here today? I'm going to move pretty quickly through a variety of tools and platforms that you can use to network online with alumni. And we're going to come back at the end to create your own action plan for where you go from here. So to ground us in the conversation, just take a moment. Maybe if you have a Post-it near you, you jot it down. What motivated you to be here today? Are you new to networking and unfamiliar, and maybe it's a little overwhelming? Are you an experienced networker who's looking to add some more tools to your toolkit? Just really ground yourself in sort of what motivated you to be here today. Next, I want to talk just briefly about what networking is. Networking is still widely seen as the #1 way to get a job. It's all about not only who you know, but who knows you and who's looking out for you when you go to apply for a new job or move into a different industry. I'm sorry, my slides have been a little funky today, but there we go. So networking is the act of building a community around shared professional or academic interests. And I just love this definition because it really gets us away from thinking of networking as a transactional experience or something that only happens over happy hours in a very insincere way, right? We're thinking about what is the community of people that we are building around us who will look out for us, who will look out for them as well, and help lift each other up as we go. Where to even begin when it comes to networking? There are a wide variety of channels that you can think about. I have my favorites and maybe you have yours. So I wanted to go through just 6 of the channels that I could think of to help you get started with networking. And we're going to go in depth into a few of them today. So the first are events. So this is meeting new people at virtual or in-person gatherings, sharing who you are and what you do to gain valuable contacts and info that you can use. There is something about getting together with people, whether that's in person or online, sharing your story and finding those synergies, those overlaps, where you can create opportunities for one another. That's been around for a long time, and it continues to be a really valuable experience for many people. The next are referrals. This happens to be my favorite, starting with who you know and then widening your circle from there. So this is about asking your existing contacts for advice on new people to meet with to explore career pathways. Who are you currently connected to in your family and your friends and your professional circles that might be able to introduce you to their layer and then their next layer, and what opportunities might exist in those outer layers that you're not currently connected to. The next is online. So utilizing online search tools to find people to contact for career advice and mentorship. We're going to talk about that option more in depth in just a moment. And then there's a few communities that you are already connected to that you might not be aware of that you can tap into for networking contacts. So one of them are student organizations. So if you're joining today's call as a University of Minnesota student, you probably hear all the time about the incredible student group community that exists here at the university. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of community groups organized around shared interests or academic or career goals. Are you connected to those? And how might those help you get to the next stage in your academic or career path? On the same note, there are professional associations. So most professionals have an association that's directly linked with their industry or career. I work in alumni engagement, and I'm connected to an organization called CASE, the Center for Advancement of Education, or the acronyms are hard to remember, but CASE has a variety of resources and tools available to me as an alumni engagement professional to meet and learn from other folks in the profession. And then last are alumni networks. So as a University of Minnesota community member, you are connected to a global community of alumni, 500,000 strong, who are in all sorts of industries and pathways and are just there ready for you to tap into to be successful. There is nothing that a fellow University of Minnesota grad wouldn't do for a fellow University of Minnesota student or grad. That's been my experience. And so it's really just about learning how to leverage this community for your benefit and tap into it. And so next, I'm going to move into talking about 2 of the resources that exist for you to connect with the alumni who are out there. 500,000 is a lot of people. So that's really powerful. That might be part of why you chose the University of Minnesota, but it also is a little overwhelming and really, frankly, can stagnate you as you try to get started. So let's talk a little bit about how to break into your alumni network and start using that community to your advantage. The first tool that I want to talk to you about is LinkedIn. So you may or may not already be familiar with LinkedIn. It is a professional social networking site where you create a profile and you build up a community of connections that you can then message to, reach out to, share updates with, apply for jobs. It has many features and tools available to you. But the one that I wanted to make sure that you know about that isn't always so widely acknowledged is the alumni tool. So if you have a LinkedIn account, you can go to your page, and at the top, there's a search bar. And if you type in University of Minnesota and select the University of Minnesota school, you'll be taken to a page that looks like this screenshot here on the left. And there's a variety of tabs, including one that's called Alumni. And when you click on Alumni, you'll see there are over 300,000 folks who have the University of Minnesota listed as their school on LinkedIn. And you can utilize some of the search tools that they have available. For example, there's keyword, company, a search bar, the years that they attended, where they live or where they work, to drill down and find alumni on LinkedIn who match your interests and goals, so that you can reach out to them for career connections. So if you haven't already done so, I highly encourage you to utilize the alumni tool on LinkedIn to find alumni who share your interests and goals and to expand your network on LinkedIn. If you're looking for more content on LinkedIn, I'll be sharing links to a few of our past webinars that go more in depth in terms of how to leverage LinkedIn for your academic and career search. There's content about how to make sure your profile is complete and compelling, or how to set up a regular stream of updates to kind of create a personal brand for yourself. But I'm not going to go into that in today's session, because what I want to do next is do a deeper dive into something called the Maroon and Gold Network. So you might be joining today's session already familiar with the Maroon and Gold Network, or maybe this is brand new to you. But what I'm going to do is walk us through what the Maroon and Gold Network is, how to use it, and give you a short demo so that you can feel really comfortable and confident using this platform for your benefit. So the Alumni Association launched the Maroon and Gold Network back in 2018. So it's been around for about 3 years now. And during that time, we've come to see it as a really reliable tool for students and alumni to connect with one another. One of the things that sets it apart from LinkedIn is that it's exclusive to the University of Minnesota community. So you can think of it almost as LinkedIn on steroids, right? So it's a free online platform for career-related advice, networking, and mentorship just for the University of Minnesota community. So students, you can go on there and search through the alumni and find folks to message and ask for career advice, ask for opportunities to go job shadowing, ask for introductions to others in their field. And alumni, you can go on and mentor students to be available for those kinds of contacts that I just mentioned, but then you can also leverage the platform to network with alumni as well. There go my slides, being funky again. So we just hit 10,000 users on the Maroon and Gold Network, which is a tremendous milestone. And one that we're super proud of. There are over 7,200 alumni on the Maroon and Gold Network and 3,500 students, and it's growing every day. So we're really excited to see that community continue to grow. One of the neat features on the Maroon and Gold Network is an alumni heat map. And so you can go on the Maroon and Gold Network and search through the list of folks, but you can also look at it from a map perspective and see where alumni on the Maroon and Gold Network are. So you can see there's obviously a lot right here in the Twin Cities in Minnesota, but there are all over the world. So we're currently in 48 states plus DC and 60 countries. So odds are that if you are interested in moving somewhere in the world, you could go on the Maroon and Gold Network and find alumni who are there, who've raised their hand and are willing to help. Just got a question in the Q&A. Do you need to be a paid Alumni Association member to use the Maroon and Gold Network? No, you do not. The Maroon and Gold Network is free to all students, alumni, faculty, and staff at the University of Minnesota. Now, our Alumni Association members power it. We could not have a platform like this without the support of our members. So if you are a member, thank you for helping keep this resource alive and growing. But if you're a student, if you're a recent grad, if you're not in a position yet to become a member, know that this is available to you right now. I've been truly amazed by the number of majors and industries that are represented on the Maroon and Gold Network. There are literally hundreds of majors. So odds are your area is there. But the top majors represented sort of match the most popular majors at the University of Minnesota. So we are talking about communications and marketing, engineering, psychology, business disciplines, and education. And then here you can see the most requested help topics. So one of the things that I really like about the Maroon and Gold Network versus LinkedIn is that when an alum joins the Maroon and Gold Network, they have the opportunity to indicate exactly what it is that they're willing to help students and fellow alumni with. So they can say, I'm willing to help with sharing advice about starting a business, or I'm willing to help with sharing advice about moving to a new city, or job interview strategies, or career and industry trends. And so when a student or alum goes and searches the network, they can see exactly how an alum has said they're willing to help. And then here you can see a breakdown of how that plays out. So most people reach out for an informational interview. And there's some great resources on the Maroon and Gold Network about how to conduct informational interviews if that process is new to you. Everything from how to ask for an informational interview to how to approach one once you are with the person that you're meeting with. Some of the other things that people reach out to alumni on the Maroon and Gold Network about are introductions to others in their field, job search strategies, career industry trends, transitioning to life after school, job shadowing, and job interview strategies. And I want to go back to transitioning to life after school. So as we dig into the Maroon and Gold Network and see what kinds of interactions are happening on the platform, we see some traditional interactions, what you might think of as traditional mentorship, right? Students to experienced and wise alumni. But what we're also seeing is non-traditional mentorship experiences, things like students reaching out to recent grads who are maybe just 1, 2, or 3 years out of school to say, what are these first few years really like? And what kinds of job titles should I be looking for when I'm so new in my career? We've also seen something that's sometimes labeled reverse mentorship, which is when a more experienced or seasoned alum might reach out to a recent grad for advice. We've seen this play out with social media tips and strategies. An alum that I can think of was starting a business, starting their own venture after many years in industry, and just wasn't familiar about how to best promote themselves on social media. And somebody had said they were willing to help with that, and they reached out and formed a connection that way. So you can really leverage this network in a lot of different ways. One other distinction that I want to highlight is that whereas on LinkedIn, you reach out to people to connect with them and you build up this pool of people that are known as your connections, but you may or may not ever reach out to them or interact with them. On the Maroon and Gold Network, the second you join, everyone on the platform is your connection. And the action that's really taking place are messaging and interactions, whether they be virtual or in person, but it's really built around those interactions. So you might message someone and you might send them a message and ask a question or two, and they might respond and answer your question, and that satisfies that interaction and it's complete. You might do that 5-10 times over and get different input that you can use to then help guide you on your journey. Some of those interactions turn into an in-person meeting or a virtual meeting over Zoom. Some of those interactions might then turn into longer-term connections. And what we love about the Maroon and Gold Network is just how user-driven it is. So it is there for you when you need it most. And you can really be stagnant on it when you don't need it. So if you're in the process of exploring career paths, applying for jobs, career transitions, looking to move up, that's a time to be really active on the Maroon and Gold Network, to start sending lots of contacts. If you're in a place that's more settled, then it just sits there and it waits for you until you need it again. Or if you're an alum, you're there and making yourself available to students who might want to contact you for advice. So I just like to draw that distinction between the Maroon and Gold Network and LinkedIn. So with 10,000 folks on the Maroon and Gold Network, we've had the opportunity to hear from some of them about their experience. And I just wanted to highlight a couple of the things that they're saying about the value of the Maroon and Gold Network. So Brock was a 2013 graduate, and he writes, "The University of Minnesota prepares all graduates by providing tremendous education in any field, but there will always be unforeseen lessons that can only come from hands-on experience. And the Maroon and Gold Network helps bridge that gap. I would urge any alum looking for a way to give back to sign up and pay it forward." So I love this quote because it not only talks to alumni about their motivation for joining, but it also hopefully instills some confidence in students that this is a really warm atmosphere where you can be confident reaching out, that these are alumni who want to help you. They're waiting for you, basically. And then Maya, who wrote this when she was a current student, wrote, "Connecting with alumni as a current student through the Maroon and Gold Network has not only helped me build my network, but has also allowed me to explore different companies and careers I might not have known about otherwise. This information has been invaluable to me as I've begun to search for internships and even thought about what I might do upon graduation." And finally, Jessie, who used the Maroon and Gold Network as a brand new grad, she writes, "The Maroon and Gold Network has become a huge help for me as I've entered my professional career as a very user-friendly platform that makes finding alumni based on the help you need easy. Everyone that I've connected with on the network has been eager and able to help, and I'm thankful the Alumni Association has created a community for our graduates." So this is the point in the presentation when I want to jump out and actually give you a tour around the Maroon and Gold Network. So you should now be seeing the home page of the Maroon and Gold Network. And so if and when you have an account, and actually I'll just drop the link into the chat box quick so you all can hop on there if you're not already. But once you have an account, this is going to be the page that you see when you log in. And it's really designed to be very action oriented and give you lots of options for what you might do right away. And so Maroon and Gold Network takes in information about you and then gives you some recommendations of folks to connect with right off the bat on your front page. And you can see that you can click through them to get to know more about these people. And then there's an option to message them right from the home page. So to keep things really easy, you have a couple of options right here on your homepage, and it even tells you why the system connected you with that person. So if you find somebody that looks interesting right on the homepage, you can click message, and it's going to bring you to a page with some more information about the individual and then a text box to allow you to start writing a message. I'm going to jump back and show you a couple other ways to find alumni to connect with. So the next tab over from the home tab is called Network. And here is where you will find all of the alumni mentors on the Maroon and Gold Network, along with a really powerful search bar where you can conduct pretty highly individualized searches to narrow down the field about who you want to connect with. And of course, anytime you're demonstrating the Maroon and Gold Network, it takes forever to load, but I want you to know that when you are using it, it will be faster than this. And if we're not able to do the searches today because of my internet connection, I will be sure to share the recorded tutorials that we have that show you how to use the search features. But while that's loading, maybe I can at least click on some of these and show you some of the things that you can do. So the first is a search bar, and here you can literally type in anything and it will match with anything in a user's profile. So you might like to type in a particular industry like marketing and hit apply. And anybody with the word marketing somewhere in their profile will pop up. And here you can see we've narrowed down the field from that 7,000 alumni that I mentioned earlier to 1,000, which is still quite a few and a pretty overwhelming place to start. And so I like to narrow it down even further. Maybe I add in a location. I'm interested in going into marketing in Chicago. So I add that in. And now I'm down to 29. Okay, that feels a little bit more reasonable. I could start to maybe click into some of these profiles and find somebody that matches my interests and hit let's connect. And again, that's going to take you to that same messaging tab that I showed you earlier. Somebody just dropped into the chat and said on the sign up page, it asks if the joiner wants to join via LinkedIn, Facebook, or email. Is there one method preferable or advantageous over the others? Great question. And the answer is it's strictly your preference. I chose to use my LinkedIn because it just was easier. I already had an account set up and the system can import some information from your LinkedIn profile for you. But I would say probably most people just use their email to sign up and create an account using an email address of their choosing. Again, please, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop those in the question Q&A or the chat. So I'm going to clear this initial search and I'll do another one. If anybody has a search that they want me to demonstrate, please feel free to drop that in too, and I'd be happy to go through that together. Another one that I wanted to try was industries. So there might be an industry that you're interested in. Let's say advertising and public relations. Apply. And I'm down to 343. And under more filters, there's an option called help topic. And here are a list of all of those help topics that alumni have said, yes, I'm willing to assist students and other alumni with. So say I'm looking to get into advertising and PR, and I'm about to start searching for jobs. Well, then maybe I want to click on job search strategies and job interview strategies because I'm really in that zone. Well, now I'm down to 160. That's still quite a few. So I can keep narrowing it down further using different features like, maybe I only want to connect with first generation students because I share that identity. Let's see if there's anybody that pops up for this. And of course, we're getting the spinny wheel. But you start to get the idea of how you can conduct searches. And so if I hit clear all, if it works, somebody asked for a landscape architecture search. So I'm going to load this again. Oops. Oh man. I hope I'm instilling confidence in you all that the system works. Landscape architecture. And hit apply. And we've got 32. Now that search might have pulled both words separately. So another thing that I can do is add quotes around it. And that should now just pull, well, maybe it did capture. Another filter is majors. So you could put landscape architecture there as well. And it's going to capture it as just look for folks majors. So here we have 19 folks that have landscape architecture as their major. So that's pretty exciting to see the breadth of people in different industries that you can find. Now, this is a good opportunity to show you another feature of the networking tab, which is called search alerts. So 19 is a great place to start making connections within landscape architecture. But say you wanted to be informed every time somebody joins the Maroon and Gold Network and has a major of landscape architecture, you can create something called a search alert. So once you have conducted a search that matches something that you're interested in, then you hit set search alert and you name your search alert landscape architecture and select how often you'd like to receive alerts. You know, say you want to be informed daily if somebody new joins with that criteria. And now you've set up an alert and you'll get an email every time somebody joins with that. And you can set up multiple search alerts to meet your interests. So you don't even need to think about it. It's working on the background on your behalf. Now, I mentioned that you can look at folks by location too and get that heat map view. And so that can be found over here. It defaults to card view. And if you switch to map view, now we're still on the landscape architecture search, but you can see, okay, most of our folks are right in Minnesota, but there are a few in other places. Let's clear landscape architecture and see if we can get to our here's that main map view. So perhaps you're interested in networking more by location instead of by industry. You know, you want to know, what would it be like to move to a new city after graduation? I want to move to Chicago. Well, you can click on Chicago and then search, and here's all the people that are in that area. And you can reach out to them and you can drill down even further. And then I love zoning all the way out and going across the globe. And you can see it's in 6 continents. So if you're, if you're tuning in as someone who either already lives abroad or is looking to go abroad, this is a great way to find folks that are connected to the University of Minnesota, wherever you might be going. After exploring the homepage and the networking tab and search alerts and the map view, there's just a few other things I'd like to highlight for you to be aware of. One is programs. So a few of the colleges on campus manage formal mentor programs through the Maroon and Gold Network. And many of these are actually recruiting for mentees right now. So if you happen to be joining as a student in either CCAPS, design, or public health, definitely check these out. Other schools and colleges have formal mentor programs of their own. They're just managed in a system outside of the Maroon and Gold Network. So if you have any questions about getting connected with a mentor in a more one-on-one, long-term structured setting, definitely reach out to your academic advisor or to the alumni relations professional in your college to get more information about that. The next tab is called discussion. And here is where you can post and ask a question, a more general question to the entire Maroon and Gold Network community. And so we've had folks ask questions about different job opportunities, starting a business, moving to a new country. And I will often share resources here as well. So this is just a different way to engage with the Maroon and Gold Network community. Next is resources. So here we've tried to drop in some resources that might be helpful to you as you get started on the Maroon and Gold Network, or match the goals that might be bringing you to the Maroon and Gold Network. So here we have an article called Maximizing the Maroon and Gold Network. And here's just a more in-depth overview of kind of what to expect and things to keep in mind. So if you're somebody who likes to kind of dig in and really do your research before starting with something, definitely check out resources. We have video tutorials about how to invite someone to connect and how to search the network. We have some tips about how to search for a job or internship right now. And then so on and so forth. There's some FAQs that are more technical in nature. So if you're curious about setting up a schedule on the Maroon and Gold Network, you can actually do that. If you want to make sure that you can know who can see your profile, you can find more information about that here. And then the last tab is called groups. And here you can see that there are a number of subgroups available within the Maroon and Gold Network that are around certain identities or interest areas. And so if you identify with any of these interest areas, then you can join these groups. And it's just another way to connect with users on the Maroon and Gold Network. At this time, that concludes my tour of the Maroon and Gold Network for you. There are other features that you can explore once you have an account, such as how do you bookmark folks that you might be interested in connecting with later. How do you maintain your inbox, which is where all of the messages that you send on the Maroon and Gold Network get stored. Everything that goes into your inbox also gets sent to your email. So you have it here nice and organized, but you don't need to worry about checking your inbox. Whatever email address you sign up for on the Maroon and Gold Network will receive all of the communication that you get. So you don't need to worry about that. But I'm going to stop sharing my screen and go back to our PowerPoint that we were in before, because I want to ask, now that you've seen the Maroon and Gold Network and heard about the LinkedIn alumni tool, if you can reflect back to your motivations for joining today's session, what are some of the things that you would like to do next to advance your alumni network? And I like to think about this in both the short term and in the long term, because it's a process, right? It's not something that you need to do overnight. But I invite you in this moment to, maybe on that Post-it that you had out before, or even just in your head, what is one thing that you can do to advance your alumni network in the next week, in the next month, in the next year? For example, maybe in the next week, you commit to creating a Maroon and Gold Network account, and that takes you through the end of the week. And in the next month, maybe you commit to sending 5 alumni messages and inviting them to have an informational interview and learn more about your potential fields of interest. And in the next year, maybe you look to join one of those groups or post on the discussion board. Or if you're joining today's session as a student, you start to imagine what it might be like when you cross the stage at graduation and become an alum, and your account on the Maroon and Gold Network transitions to becoming an alumni account, and you can start giving back to students and other alumni as well. So with that, I want to thank you all so much for joining me today and open it up for questions. If you walk away from here with one takeaway, it's that your alumni network is here for you, that we want to support each other. If there's anything that I can do to help you get started or get connected, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My name again is Marissa Smith, and my email address is marissas@umn.edu. I'm also on the Maroon and Gold Network, of course, and on LinkedIn. And so please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd love to help you get started on expanding your alumni network, either with the tips and tricks we shared today or through a conversation that we have offline. So now is a great time. I want to keep the webinar open for a little bit longer. If there are any questions, you can drop them in the chat or in the Q&A box, and I'd be happy to take those. I'm not seeing any come in yet, but like I said, we'll just give it a couple more moments, and this is a good opportunity to ask any questions that you have about the Maroon and Gold Network. If you'd like me to go back and answer any, conduct any searches just out of curiosity, or anything like that. You're also welcome. I can open up the chat to everyone if you want to drop in any of your action items, if you're willing to share any of your action steps to give other folks some ideas. So a question just came in. Can you expand and talk a bit more about the mentorship programs, specifically any for young professionals and students alike? Certainly. So the University of Minnesota has formal mentorship programs run through the schools and colleges. Many schools and colleges and even departments have these programs, but not every one. If your school or college has one, you can find more information if you go to umnalumni.org/mentor. And there's a way to, there's a button where you can search mentor programs by college. So if you go there and you can see if your college has a program, and then click into that link and learn more about their timeline. Right now is a great time to be asking that question because many are in the active recruitment for the year. But the Maroon and Gold Network was really launched to be to fill the gap, either where no formal mentor programs exist, or to put you as the student or alum more in the driver's seat. So you can reach out to anybody on the Maroon and Gold Network for mentorship-like conversations that might evolve into a longer-term relationship as well. Another ask, I'm only seeing 2 programs on my end. Am I doing something wrong? Probably not. Or if you're talking about the formal mentor programs, it might just have to do with the way the program is set up Some are set up in a quote unquote public way, meaning anybody can see them and read about them. And some are set up as private. So the link has to be shared with you directly in order for you to click join. And the colleges that would have done that would be sharing them with all their students and alumni. So you're not missing anything. You're not doing anything wrong. Another question came in about looking for alumni in my area. And so I'll hop back over to the Maroon and Gold Network here for a second. Let's see here. And show you how to search by location. So under network, you have two options for searching by location. One is using the search filter at the top and typing in the location or locations that you're interested in. So maybe Seattle is something that you're interested in. You can hit apply, and then you'll see a view of the 52 alumni on the University of Minnesota's Maroon and Gold Network that are in Seattle. Or if you want to take a broader view to searching by location, that's where you can click over to that map view. And here you can click anywhere that you see a little button, and it will show you who is in that area. And then you can reach out to them and you can really drill down. I think once you even get closer to the Twin Cities, you start to see the metro area break out into more of a diverse array of places. Next question was, how can one find more information about the existing alumni networks? That's a great question. So the alumni networks that are supported by the University of Minnesota's Alumni Association can all be found on the Alumni Association's website and under alumni networks. And they are organized by location and by school and by affinity and also by corporation. So I'll drop this link into the chat in just a minute. And networks host events, both virtual, and some are starting to host in person again. They host professional development activities, volunteer opportunities, Facebook groups. It's really a great way to find community around shared interests. So you can see some of the corporate networks here, the affinity networks, and then there's schools and also the ability to search by location there. So for example, let's look up DC, Washington, DC, and the page is going to load and take me to the geographic network in Washington, DC. That will give me some contact information to learn more, a Facebook link, and if they were hosting any upcoming events, they would show up here as well. That was the last question I'm currently seeing, but if there are any more, feel free to pop those into the chat now. Otherwise, we will start to wrap up our time together. I want to thank everyone again so much for joining me, for your interest in this topic. And I will be sharing the recording and the slides with you as soon as I can, so that you can get started. And I wish you the very best. One question came in. Just to clarify, depending on the college from the U you graduated from, you have access to certain events or networks on the Maroon and Gold Network exclusively. Great question. One of the really exciting things about the Maroon and Gold Network is that it's open to students and alumni from all the schools and colleges, and you can connect across schools and colleges. So there are obviously advantages at times to connecting with somebody who went through a similar program than you, but there's times where you might want to connect across academic areas too, and that is possible on the Maroon and Gold Network. There is nothing to restrict you from reaching out to somebody from a different school and college. Where that might vary is in those formal programs, right? So in the formal programs run by the schools and colleges, some of which are managed through the Maroon and Gold Network, but some of which are managed outside of the Maroon and Gold Network. Those are going to be where you're limited to participating, most likely based on your school and college. So hopefully that helped clarify. Here in the search bar, you can see school and college, and you'll see all of the University of Minnesota programs here. You can find the one that most closely affiliates with you or look across. And another question came in, is the best way to connect to the Maroon and Gold Network is through LinkedIn? It's personal. I really think it's a nice thing to do because if you have a LinkedIn profile, it'll automatically bring in some of the information that you have there, like your work experience. But you can also build your profile on the Maroon and Gold Network from scratch. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's really meant to be a simple and easy tool to use. So it's going to be your personal preference how to sign up for the Maroon and Gold Network, whether you do that via the email option, LinkedIn, or Facebook. Any other questions before we close out today's session? I want to again thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you on the Maroon and Gold Network soon. Thank you.